Welcome. This is part two of a series on burnout and the midlife woman. Today, we're going to talk about foods and how that can affect your state of vibrancy and vitality or contribute to burnout. So, welcome. My name is Angela Warburton. I am using my background in Eastern medicine, Western nutrition, dietetics, my clinical experience, 25 years working with women in the clinic as a midlife menopause expert, but also as a woman I practice exactly what I preach. And so everything that I'm telling you, I have worked through in my own life as well. So really here to help guide you through this powerful time of life. And there's so much that you can do. So many little things make a huge difference over time. It can be overwhelming, especially your body's like, what's going on with my body? But when we approach things from these little micro ways and just shift little thing over time, it's going to have a huge difference and you're going to be more empowered. So hopefully this will help you today. We're going to talk about the foods and gut health, really, really important with burnout. So burnout, it's affecting so many women. It sucks the joy out of life. We can't operate. It can affect our relationships. It can affect our work life. It can affect every aspect of our life. Plus, it just feels crappy. So, what can you do from food wise? So, the number one thing with burnout and foods in the gut is the gut health. The only way that we are building energy, the only way that we are processing nutrients and bringing them, basically taking nutrients from our food and changing it into blood to nutrients to feed ourselves, is through the gut. It's also the way that we produce healthy hormones. And when our gut is off balance, it's going to affect absolutely everything in our body. That means mental health, it's going to affect our vitality, it's going to affect our hormones, it's going to affect our immune system, absolutely everything. So gut, use tons of information out there on it, but I'm just going to give you a sort of gut 101 really fast, and then some key foods to avoid, but also to add in to supercharge and to help replenish your energy if you're burned out. So gut is basically when we take the minerals from earth, and through food, we eat it, we break it down, and we turn it into us, and that turns it into energy. And so from what we put in our body, then our body's ability to break it down and then absorb it and then get rid of what we don't need. That's our whole gut pathway and channel. So we want to look at what we're putting in, but most importantly, are we able to absorb it? And so one of the biggest things that I see affecting gut health is stress. And stress, when we're stressed, our body goes into a survival state. It's normal to have stress, but we should basically oscillate between, being stressed and then getting out and being signaling to have our body go, oh, we're safe. We can now go into that parasympathetic rest and digest state where we repair tissue and recover. Unfortunately, in our modern world, so many of us are just living in this chronic state of stress. So if you're someone who is overwhelmed, overworked, feeling like you just can't catch up on things, or just sort of walking around just a little bit like looking for danger, just a little bit in that sort of tight state, your body is probably in a stressed state. And when we do that, our body will reprioritize where it puts energy. So it will take all the resources away from what we consider non-essential components of our body. So that's like digesting food, creating hormones. It can be like cycling, producing, building up a healthy lining if we're having a period. All those things are considered non-essential, and the body shunts all its resources to survival things like our muscles, our pupils dilate. We got lots of blood to our heart or to our lungs. Our capacity expands so that we can fight or flee. And so when our body shuts down the blood supply or the nerve pathways to our gut, we're not going to be digesting well. So any kind of digestive issue, leaky gut, you're having a lot of reactivity to food, you're getting bloated after you eat, you're having loose bowels, you're feeling exhausted after you eat, you're getting stuffiness in your nose or congested after you eat. Those are signs that your gut is not working optimally, and you might have something called leaky gut. So first and foremost, what you have to do before you eat is signal safety, that you're calm and that your nervous system is relaxed, so that everything's online and your gut's like, your stomach's like, oh, I'm here, I'm working. All right, excellent. Well, I've got a job to do. So making sure that you're not eating on the run, you're not eating in a rush, you're not gulping down food is really important. So you really want to signal safety. We're going to talk about the nervous system resetting in the next video, but you want to signal safety. That can be just like simple as being where your hands are. Hey, I'm going to eat a meal. I'm going to slow down. I'm going to eat a meal. Okay, have a little gratitude. Where did this food come from? Who prepared it? Did I prepare it? Making sure it's easy to digest, particularly if you've got some gut issues. So warm cooked foods is one of the number one things. You can do warm cooked foods that are pureed. So pureed soups can be like really easy for your gut to digest. But just taking that time before you eat is really important. That's step one. Step two, chew your food. Your stomach doesn't have teeth. That's a saying in Chinese medicine. It doesn't have teeth. First step of digestion is in your mouth. Not only the saliva, but breaking it down and putting into a liquid form so that your stomach can do its job. If we're gulping food and putting big pieces down in our stomach, it can't digest it, it can't break it down, and that's going to start a real train of not great digestion down the way. You also want to make sure that you have the right food in your gut. So we've heard about the microbiome. So that's the good bacteria. We want to have good bacteria, and that's where we produce hormones. We produce the chemicals from our healthy mind, for our immune system. There's all kinds of different bacteria in our gut. So we want to make sure we have good bacteria, and we want to make sure we're feeding them the food that they want. So food wise, you want to have diversity. That means different colored foods. You want to have different vegetables, some starchy, like some greens, different mixes of things. So if you can get a variety of spices and foods, it means you're going to feed your gut all kinds of different nutrients and the right stuff so that all the good bacteria has something to eat and they can thrive in there. And so if you're someone who eats the same things every day, you're going to want to maybe look at that to diversify what you're eating. So that's one really important thing. You want mineral dense food. So foods that have a lot of minerals or nutrients in them. And you're going to want them as whole, close to the whole form as possible. So if you picked it off a tree or out of the ground, that's great. Wash it, eat it, cook it. You want so as close to the earth as possible, the least amount of processing. Organic, 100% where possible. The pesticides that we use on foods that aren't organic have a huge impact on our gut health. So if you can't get organic, try to look at that Clean 15, Dirty Dozen by the EWG organization, where it looks at the worst foods that have the highest levels of pesticides and those that are best, or get a wash, just a little bit of vinegar and water, wash them, soak them for a bit before you cook them, can be really helpful. Seasonal food and local food also really great because seasonally, it gives us what we need for the season and the place, the climate we live in. But when you get local food, it hasn't traveled as far. So that means chances are it's picked when it's been a little more ripe. It has more nutrients in it than something that's had been picked when it's unripe and has to travel a long way to get to you. So just little things that you can do. And then using, especially if you're burned out, including some adaptogens into your diet. So adaptogens are food that help your body adapt to stress, things that help your body process and thrive even when you're stressed out. So a lot of mushrooms you can do. I have a Supercharged non-coffee link that I'll put in the link below, but that just where you can make this supercharged drink that's going to give your body lots of nutrients, but it's going to give you adaptogens to help your body process food. Lots of them out there, but just having some is great. And just really cutting the stimulants, anything that's going to stimulate your body too much. Processed foods, sugars, coffee, or caffeine for sure can stimulate that adrenal, that cortisol in the body. And that's when we get a little bit more stressed. So if you've ever been someone who you're tired, but you have a coffee and then you're like, whoa, like kind of wired or irritated, coffee does not make me feel good. Palpitations, it can affect people's sleep. Even if they only have one coffee in the morning, it can affect the sleep at night. If you're really irritated a lot, sometimes caffeine can have something to do with it. So there you go. So there's just some simple things you can do from a nutrition standpoint and from your gut standpoint. if anyone resonates with the gut information, I have a whole series that I did on gut with recipes, with nervous system resetting tools, with essential oils, and just really explaining and walking you through a healthy gut. If you're watching this video, you get 20% off. You can see the code below, and that's really helping you reset this system and can help you thrive. So hopefully this was helpful. If you like it, hit like. If you have some experience with this, have noticed something yourself, please put in the comments. I love hearing from you. And I will see you in the next video where we're going to talk about how burnout and the nervous system are related. So there you go. Thank you for being here, and I will see you next time.